Okay, how is this? Is this better? Let me know if, okay, perfect. Okay. I don't know why it does that sometimes. It's kind of frustrating though. So futures is really indecisive right now, like I was saying before, but it does look like it's turning into a cup and a handle. It's just really indecisive. So hopefully it goes up. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so let's get started with BRTX. Okay, so this one didn't have a ton of volume today, but that's not that bad because it can always come in tomorrow. Let's see, it's got resistance 42 cents, which is, I don't love, do not love it. I like stocks that have room to move, but if I look at the hourly, you can see a perfect bull pennant on the hourly, which I do love. So we have a perfect bull pennant. So if it breaks above that 42 cents, then it's got room up to 55. So I am going to put that on the watch list just because it's a perfect bullish pattern on the hourly. Let's see, bull pennant on the hourly. Watch for resistance around 42 cents and 55 cents. Okay, so that is BRTX. Okay, let's see. Are there any percentages on cup and handle success rates? It all depends on the other patterns because patterns form within patterns, and because the cup and handle is such a big pattern, there can be smaller reversal patterns and smaller reversal candles in there, and the longer the handle is on a cup and handle, the less bullish it is. So you would prefer to have a cup and handle with a short handle because then that means it's going to break out. As far as the percentage of a breakout, that would depend on where the resistance level is. If it's got only 10 cents to resistance, then you're not going to have a real big potential. I mean, that doesn't mean it's not going to go. It could go, but it depends on what's inside. So if we go back to the futures real quick, you can see that these are super indecisive. So if I was going to make a potential prediction about where it's going to go tomorrow, it would have to get above the high of day today. If it breaks above the high of day today, then it's going to have to get the high yesterday. So it all depends on what it does for highs. Yeah, the inside of patterns have, like you'll see a bull flag. Sometimes a cup and handle, the handle will make up a bull flag. So if it's a cup and handle and a bull flag, the potential of it being bullish is more than if the handle made, what's a bearish pattern? Like, I mean, a bear flag, if it made a bear flag, because sometimes handles can go down. So you want to look at the smaller patterns within the patterns. Okay, AVEO, I know we talked about that in the trade room today. I would not put this on the watch list. It rejected off of this 200 SMA. You can see a 1, 2, 3. It's a triple top on the 5-minute. It never broke above this 110. So I wouldn't put that on the watch list for tomorrow. ACOR, that was on the watch list that Lucian made for yesterday. So it is holding its highs. It is riding the 9. Let me look at the hourly and see what the hourly says. See if I would put this back on. It's in a rising wedge, so it's easy to borrow. So this could be a potential short because a rising wedge is a bearish pattern. So you could short it all the way back down to this 317, but it is holding its highs. That's the thing. It could go either way. So I think I'm going to skip that for now. AKBA. I mean, I can come back to that if I need. Okay, so this one also holding its highs on the day. It's going to run into this resistance right here on the 200. Let me see what the hourly looks like. All right, so this is just ripping. So it could potentially keep going because you can sort of see this cup, but it never made a handle. It just kept going. And let's see if I can find, yeah, resistance at 289. So I do like that it's holding its highs. A stock that holds its highs typically has some room to go. Holding its highs on the day. Sorry, I had to cough for a second. Holding its highs on the day. Watch for 200 SMA resistance on daily. And this is another easy to borrow stock. So if it goes the opposite way tomorrow, you can always take the short side of things. So let's look at CBL. Okay, so CBL, you can see this V bottom on the 5-minute, and then it broke out at the end of the day. So let's look at this right here is, oh man, there is a name for this. This is a bullish pattern, and I can't remember the name. It's 1 big green candlestick, 3 red down, and then it heads back up. Oh man, and the name escapes me, but if you look at our candlesticks course, it's on our candlesticks course. I just can't remember what it is to save my life right now. So it's sort of like a bull flag, and then it's heading back up. I do like the V bottom on the 5-minute. I do like that it's holding its highs. It's going to run into resistance here on the 200. And it's kind of a bull flag on the daily because you can see like this little teeny tiny flag and then it shoots up. So I like it. V bottom on 5-minute. Watch for 200 SMA resistance on daily. CBL. All right, so let's take a look at ADAP. Okay, so this one looks like it wants to form a cup. You can see it's starting to do that. It's going to run into resistance around this 251 potentially. And then it might want to form a handle, but as long as it's forming the cup, you can make those plays. So let me look at the hourly, see what the hourly shows me. Okay, so it's bull flaggish. It's not a perfect bull flag, but it is flaggish on the hourly. So we can put that one on. Cup forming on daily. Oops. Daily bull flaggish on hourly. Watch for resistance around 200 SMA on daily. All right, so that is ADAP. Okay, this is another one, CANF, that we were looking at in the trade room today. Let me remove my drawings. Okay, so this one is the perfect picture of a doji on the daily, which means it is a neutral. It could go either way, but you see this perfect double bottom on the 5-minute. It would just need to get above VWAP. If it does that, it's got room up to 328. So let me look at the hourly. What does the hourly look like? Not the biggest fan of what the hourly looks like. It could be a double bottom though on the hourly with a bull flag. So that actually talked me into it. It's got resistance, yep, 328. Look at that. 328 was a resistance back over here on August 1st, and it tested that today and didn't break and hold. Instead, it went back down. So you have to pay attention to the candlesticks, even all the way like over a month ago. So I'll put that one on. If it can get above $3, you just want to make sure it gets above $3. Okay, so double bottom on hourly and 5-minute. If price can break $3, watch for 328 resistance. That doesn't mean 328 will be resistance again. It could shoot up, but that's something to really pay attention to. Okay, let's look at AKRX. Also holding its highs on the day. You can see this sort of double bottomish pattern right here. 350 is going to be a really strong resistance. Let's look at the hourly, see what the hourly looks like. You can see it had this sort of bull pennant and then it was breaking out. This one is also easy to borrow, so you could take the short side of this, is riding the 9 up and holding highs on the day, but I don't like it for tomorrow, so I'm not going to put it on for tomorrow because you never know, but I kind of have a feeling it's going to take the bearish side. It's just my gut tells me that. So this I'm not going to put on ASNA because it's trapped between the two moving averages. You can see the last time it was trapped, it went back down. So I would want to wait for that to get above the 50 and hold. If it does that, it's got room all the way up to this 200. So it has a lot of room to move. It looks like it could be forming a head and shoulders too on the 5-minute. So I am not going to put that on. Okay, BAS. Let's see. So this one, it did break above the 50 and it held. So I do like that. It's got room up to this 200 with some speed bumps in the way. Got 266. You've got 265. Yeah, and then that 200. Let's look at the hourly and see what the hourly looks like. Okay, so this is like a pretty good bull flag on the hourly. So I like it. Let's see what it kind of just went sideways all day on the 5-minute, or yeah, the 5-minute, which I don't love, but tomorrow is a new day. So if it's got volume coming back in, it can push itself out of that. So bull flag on hourly. Watch for resistance around, oh man, I can't remember what I said. That's part of the problem. Let's see, 220 and 250. If it gets past that, then you're pretty good to go. So that is going to be BAS. And we've got AAC. Okay, so this one, it's going to run into 75-cent resistance. You can see that right there. It tried to flirt with it today, and it did not. It's also got 85-cent resistance. Let's look at the hourly. I'm not a big fan of stocks when they get tied up in these moving averages because then it's just, Angel, how come you do it exact and don't use round numbers? What do you mean by exact and using round numbers? I'm confused on that. So I don't like the hourly chart on this. I'm not going to put this on. Okay, so let's look at AMRX. Okay, so this one is stuck right here at this 50, and look at this tiny, it's just a rising window, so it's not as big as a gap, but it's still a bit of a gap. Like you put 127, the exact hit, instead of 125 or 130. Oh, because that's what it is at the, if you look up at the top, the price that's up top, that's what I use to put it on there. So instead of, I mean, if I could do 125 instead of 127, but like right here, I could do 350 instead of 349, but it says 349 on there, so I just use it as that, because that was the, yeah, that's just how I do it, which is weird because knowing me, I like the nice round numbers. But okay, so this one here intrigues me because I'd want to get it above that 50, and then the next resistance is 659. So that's quite a bit of room to move. So let me look at the hourly, see what that looks like. So it's kind of bull flagging its way up, is holding its highs. Yeah, so it's got, this one has a lot of room to go. So I like that. I like stocks. If it can get above this 50, then it's got quite a bit of room to move. Wait, I already forgot what the bottom of that was. Okay, let's see, 650. Okay, so price near bottom of rising window. If it can break, I'll say if price can break 50, oh, I can't spell. I still can't spell. Price can break 50 SMA, watch for resistance. Man, I'm having a hard time on this one. Resistance around 650. So that is AMRX. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we've got 7 stocks on the day trade watch list. I don't like to go. You have the 9, 20, 50, and 200 SMAs. Yes, I do. And there's those teeny tiny purple dots that you might see on there. That's the 5 SMA. This is actually Lucian's chart setup that I've been using, so I've never taken the 5 SMA off, but it's there. It's not one that I pay close attention to because I'm a big fan of the 9 and the 20. No, the 9 and the 20 are EMAs. The 50 and the 200 are SMAs. Okay, so we don't like to put more than like 7 stocks on the watch list because you don't want to give yourself too many stocks to take a look at. If you have too many stocks, then you get too distracted, and at least that's what happens for me. So I don't like to put too much on there. So I went ahead and looked at the options scan watch list thing that I have and picked out a couple stocks for that just because it's there's a lot of stocks on there, and to go through every single one of them, it takes a long time, and I don't want to keep you guys or anyone else on YouTube watching this video, which, by the way, on YouTube, if you're watching this video and you're wondering who I'm talking to, it's the people in our trade rooms. If you're not a member, become a member. You can talk to me. So I go ahead of time and I pick out a couple stocks that are the best. That way you guys aren't sitting there just watching me go through some pretty crappy stocks. So I picked TRIP, TRIP, because it is potentially forming a head and shoulders, although look what I see after hours, it's just tanking. And then it headed back up. Not a big fan of that, but I like this left shoulder head. It's forming a right shoulder. and the 9 and 20 are pinching. They're about to cross bullishly potentially, so we'll see. And then it's going to have this 50 SMA resistance, which gives you a little over $1. If it gets above that, then it's got this 46.17. Oh, you've been reprimanded to watch no more than 2. Yeah, because if you're trying to watch too many at the same time, then you're missing moves, and then you go chasing because you're annoyed that you missed a move of a stock. At least this is what I found has happened for me. So I'll chase and then I end up losing. So if you only pick like the 2 or 3 best potentials and then you watch that, you have a higher success rate instead of being like, oh, I need to look at all these stocks, because not all of them are going to move tomorrow. We might get 2 or 3 really good ones. We might only get 1. And then a couple days later, the rest of them go. It doesn't always mean they're going to rip. So you pick the 2 best ones. That's your best bet. As far as I have found for myself, some people may not need to do that, but I don't like getting distracted. I like looking for good setups. Inverse head and shoulders forming. Watch for possible 50 SMA resistance and $46 resistance. I'll add that in just in case somebody gets confused. And then I picked GPS, which is gap, oddly enough, which is also forming an inverse head and shoulders. You can see left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If it breaks $19 and this like 1950, then it's got room to 2271. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. And you can see that it had this 9 and 20 cross today, which is bullish. So, and it's a bit indecisive around the moving averages, which is actually gives you a good entry. So I like everything I see about this. Inverse head and shoulders on daily. If price can break $19, because remember, $1.50 are psychological support and resistance. I'm trying to remember. It was 1950. Let's watch for 1950 and 200 SMA resistance. I'm going to run out of room on there. Okay, so that's going to be our day trade and our swing trade watch list for tomorrow. And again, if not all of these stocks fire off tomorrow, they typically will move. If you look at our trade alerts results post that I post on Mondays, you'll see that even if they don't move the day of, if you watch them, they go. And you can even potentially swing trade some of them and make a nice profit. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but if you're comfortable swing trading and you practice proper risk management on a penny stock and you get a good entry, sometimes holding overnight can be a good thing. Other times it's not. You just want to be careful of the pump and dumps, because penny stocks don't necessarily follow the same rhyme or reason of a large stock with the patterns. They pump, they dump. So you don't want to get stuck in that. But take a look at the trade alerts results, and then you'll see that they move, and sometimes they move all week and not just on the day of. So swing trade stocks that can be day traded on the direction. Yeah, potentially. So, oh man, I wish I could think of a stock off the top of my head that I could show you from the watch list. Actually, if you give me a second, I'll go. I like having really fast internet at my house. It's really helpful. Let's see if I can remember. Let's look at RAD and see if that was one of them. So RAD was one that they had put on the watch list for, that's when I put on the watch list for Monday. I had it at or above 646. And you can see, was it 9.3? You can see 9.3, it didn't do much, but then it started to head up. And then once it broke above this 50, it's been going. So if you don't even have to swing trade that. If you had kept that on your list and you kept watching it, you could have played it all the way from 646 to it's currently at 922. So you could have made like $3 on that. So we do put stocks on the watch list for a reason. Sometimes they don't always work out, but sometimes they do. And then it's very exciting when they do. So it's just like something to be aware of. And I know there's one person, I remember seeing it wants to hit, yeah. Was that, oh, which one was that, Clara? Was that the one that started with an M and K? Yeah. Yeah, on the daily for MNK, like it wanted to test this 200 right here, I'm sorry, this 20 right here, and it did. I don't know that I would put this on the watch list again because it was very highly traded, so I don't know if it's gonna just test this 20 and go back tomorrow, if it's gonna head up. But if it continues to head up, it's got resistance at 579. So that could be another one if you had been in that all day and you wanted to stay in it and see where it went tomorrow. That was potentially one. I might get in trouble for saying this, but potentially one that you could have swing traded. So you just have to be super, if you're going to swing trade a penny stock, if you get stuck in a trade and you have to hold overnight because you're hoping to recover, like that can be pretty dangerous. So you just have to be super, careful. I don't even like swing trading like high price stocks right now because the market is too volatile, and I can hold a stock overnight and then news or a tweet came out in the evening and my trade is just gone to poop. So I don't love doing that. But let me see. I see. Very nice. I figured as much. Yeah, sometimes it takes time, my bare feet. Sometimes it takes time, and you just have to like go at your own pace. Just because somebody else is doing it faster doesn't mean that you have to. I mean, it took me a year and a half of practicing before I felt comfortable, and now I feel much more comfortable. No, you don't bug everyone. Everyone's been there. We were all new at one time, and if somebody didn't take the time to help us, then where would we be? Probably not as good as we are now. Not that I don't want to just say that I'm super great, but it's trial and error, and you're going to win and you're going to lose, and you have to be okay with making a losing trade. If you're not okay with making a losing trade, then it's not going to go well for you. But if you just try to keep, I think the thing that I learned the most is if you hold on to a trade hoping that it's going to recover so that you don't take a loss, you're probably going to end up taking a bigger loss than you would have if you had just cut it quickly and moved on. So you have to cut your losses quickly. I know people say that all the time, but it's actually really true. So cut your losses quickly and let your runners run, which I know it's easy to say, not as easy to do, but you never go broke taking a profit. So don't try and get like $3 profit every time. If you get 10 cents, if you get 20 cents, take it. You can always get back in and make another trade. Well, that's very exciting that today or this week is your first green. That's very exciting. If you keep that up and keep going, it'll be a really great time. So I don't want to keep you guys on too much longer and bore you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and head out and trade the watch list. It's very good stuff, and check out our trade alerts if you want to see how we do. And I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see y'all later.